Konnichiwa, Sachi desu. My name is Sachi, and as promised on Instagram and TikTok, today I'm going to introduce to you a song called Amembo no Uta. It's not quite a song, but it is an amazing tool to help you improve your pronunciation of Japanese kana sounds, so hiragana and katakana. Once you have your hiragana and katakana sounds down and ready to go, you can move on to pitch accent. And learning pitch accent can really help you set yourself apart from other Japanese language learners. In the video, I break down Amembo no Uta and go through it pretty slowly with you, so it is a longer video. If you would like to skip and go to the part where I read it a little bit faster, you are more than welcome to do so. I will put a timestamp right here, you can skip to that. Otherwise, feel free to go through the whole thing, stop, pause, replay as many times as you like. And don't forget to stick around until the end because I will share with you a few different points that will help you improve your Japanese pronunciation and getting the hang of Amembo no Uta. Amembo no Uta is mostly a nonsensical song, but it's not really a song in the sense that it doesn't have a melody, but it does have a rhythm and it's like a poem. It is nonsensical in that it doesn't really have a particular meaning, but all of the words in this song are real words that do exist in Japanese. If you're joining from TikTok or Instagram, you might recognize this hiragana chart by JapanesePod101.com. This is the hiragana chart that I used to explain and introduce the essential sounds that exist within Japanese. I am also posting them onto YouTube as shorts, so stay tuned for those. Now into Amembo no Uta. Amembo no Uta, as you can see here, there are a number of different verses. They come in 2 lines, and each one has a certain set of beats. So the first 2 lines, you can read the romaji if you'd like, otherwise I highly recommend you try to focus on the hiragana. The first line goes, Amembo akai na aiu e o. So we have Amembo, 4 beats, akai na, 4 beats, aiu e o, 5 beats. And you'll notice this is very much a repetition throughout the entire song. Before we go through it together, I'm going to read through this entire page, so the first verse and then the second verse, and then we'll go through it a little bit slower together. Amembo akai na aiu e o, ukimo ni koebi mo oyoideru, kaki no ki kuri no ki kakiku keiko, Kitsutsuki kotsu kare keaki. いいですか? Can you hear the rhythm and the beat in that? Let's go through it slowly, and then as we move on to the rest of the song, I'll try to keep up a steady beat so this video doesn't get too long, but feel free to pause, stop, rewind, replay as many times as you'd like. Amembo akai na aiu e o, ukimo ni koebi mo oyoideru. Good. And second verse. Kaki no ki, kuri no ki, kakiku keiko. Kitsutsuki kotsu kotsu kare keyaki. Make sure your sounds and vowels are very clean so that, for example, a, I, U, E, O, each vowel sound is pronounced separately. If you already know French, Spanish, Italian, other languages, this will probably be really easy for you. If English is your main language, this might take a little bit more practice. We want our vowels to be clean and what are called pure vowels. So it's just one vowel sound for that entire kana in this case. Next part of the song goes, 立ちましょラッパで立ちつてととてとてたったと飛び立った So if you know a certain amount of Japanese already, you'll know that the small tsu written in hiragana or katakana or the double consonant written in English is often what's called a glottal stop. depending on where and how it's pronounced in the mouth, it might not always be a glottal stop. A glottal stop is actually where the air coming out of your mouth is stopped at the very, very back of your mouth, sort of toward the top of your throat area. In the case of rappa, for example, it's actually your lips that stops the sound momentarily, and that is because the next sound is pa, and pa begins with a p sound, which we pronounce at our lips. So this double consonant or the glottal stop, the location of where the air is completely blocked might change. Let's go through that one more time. 立ちましょうラッパで立ちつてと。とてとて立ったと飛び立った。Next verse. なめくじのろのろなにぬねの。何度にぬめてなに粘る。Next two verses go like this. はとぽっぽほろほろはひふへほ。ひなたのお部屋にゃ笛を吹く。Again, if you know a certain amount of hiragana, katakana already, you'll know that this nya sound is actually one beat, even though it's two kana. And it's one beat, you know that because the ya sound that comes after is a small ya, it's not a full-size ya. So if it was a full-size ya, it would sound like ni ya. But because the ya is small, it's nya. Next verse. まいまいねじまきまみむめも。梅の実落ちても実もしまい。焼き栗ゆで栗やいゆえよ。山田に火のつくよいの家。ライチョウは寒かろらりるれろ。レンゲが咲いたらルリの鳥。Alright, a couple things on this page here. ライチョウは You'll notice that the チョ is one sound, but there's an extra う in there. So ライチョウは This is actually 5 beats. It's a little bit longer than the rest of the 4-4-5 pattern. And we did see one on the previous page with the hatopoppo at the top of the page there. At the bottom of the page here, you'll see renge ga. This ga sound can either be pronounced as ga or nga as a velar nasal sound. Both are correct. The pronunciation is usually up to you. It's often a stylistic choice, but there are times in which one pronunciation is preferred over another. The last verse goes like this. Wa I wa I wa sho I wa I u e o. 植木や井戸替えお祭りだ。Nicely done. This washoi, you can pronounce it either washoi or washoi to help you get used to the small tsu sound. If you feel comfortable with the small tsu or the double consonant sound, I would recommend washoi, because that is closer to what a native speaker would say. But if you don't feel comfortable with it quite yet, then feel free to just cut it off completely, wa shoi, and pronounce it that way until you get used to it. All right, let's do a summary and go through the whole thing. As you can see in the review here, there is only hiragana, there is no romaji. If you don't feel comfortable reading hiragana, just focus on the sound and don't worry too much about being able to read it. Let's go through it together. I'm going to go at a steady pace, see if you can follow along. If you feel comfortable with it, definitely try shadowing what I'm doing. Amembo akai na ai u e o. 浮きもに小エビも泳いでる。柿の木、栗の木、かきくけこ。きつつき、こつこつ、かれけやき。立ちましょう、ラッパで立ちつてと。とてとて立ったと飛び立った。 なめくじのろのろなにぬねの。何度にぬめって何粘る。はとぽっぽほろほろはひふへほ。ひなたのお部屋にゃ笛を吹く。まいまいねじまきまみむめも。梅の実落ちてもみもしまい。焼き栗ゆで栗やいゆえよ。山田に火のつくよいの家。ライチョウは寒かろらりるれろ。レンゲが咲いたらルリの鳥。わいわいわっしょいわいゆえよ。植木や井戸替えお祭りだ。はい、よくできました。Nicely done. You might have noticed with hatopoppo and raichowa, I did sort of smooth it into the next sound, the next kana that comes after it, to try to keep up with a good steady beat the whole way through. Last but not least, here are 3 different tips that you can use in order to master not only the Amembo no uta, but Japanese pronunciation in general. Here they are. So one is focus on the hiragana or the katakana, not the romaji. The romaji can be really helpful in the beginning when you're learning hiragana and katakana, but at some point it can start to get quite deceiving unless you get used to how to read it. Second one, give it a really good rhythm. When you speak Japanese in general, also when you're practicing Amembo no uta, give one kana, one beat. And that is except for sound like kya, kyu, kyo. We also saw nya in Amembo no uta just now, so that's when you see the small ya, small u, small yo, and those are given one beat with the bigger kana that come immediately before them. Last one is to practice out loud and practice as often as possible. If you memorize this and you start sort of talking to yourself, Amembo akai na aiue o, whenever you're just wandering around or you're a little bit bored, then that'll help you master this even faster. Alright, どうでしたか? How was that? I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned a lot from it. If you want any more details on Japanese pronunciation, feel free again to find my videos on TikTok and Instagram. I'm also uploading them all to YouTube, so you'll find them as shorts on my channel here as well. In the next few videos, we will start going over pitch accent as well, so stay tuned for those. では今日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。Thank you so much for watching today's video. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions, leave a comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, all the usual things, and I will see you next time. ありがとうございました。